Good evening and welcome to Angel's Haven. This video has been several weeks in the making. I think I have probably 40 minutes of clips in my usual hilarity, and I hope you take some inspiration from it, or at least I hope you enjoy it. If you have any ideas about what you see or any comments, please leave them below, because I do enjoy seeing what people find inspiring or troubling or intriguing about what I do here in my tiny house. If you're new to watching videos from me, I have lived in this tiny house part-time since January of 2018, when I was still flying back and forth between California and Missouri, closing out my law practice. And by the end of 2018, I was here full-time. The house has gone through several evolutions. I'm boiling water for tea, and do you like my screech haircut? The house has been through a few changes. Most significantly, for purposes of this video, in 2020, I tore out a bed cubby that was on the first floor and flipped my bedroom with my writing loft, which you can see the light on right here, is in my old writing loft. So I've been up there 5 years, and that whole time I've had my bed oriented east to west along the back row, leaving me with only about 1.5 feet of long floor space along the length of the bed. And as you'll see, I've made some changes. So without any further ado, please enjoy. So we have just spent 4 hours, and by we I mean Michelle Burke, but I wasn't mean enough to film it, pulling everything out from under my bed, off walls, in baskets, books, everything. Everything has been pulled out from anywhere it was tucked in the whole house. And it's all sitting in the middle of my first floor. My printer, the table on it, everything. More up there. And the reason being that we moved my bed from the south wall to the west wall. And I'm putting an antique chest on the south wall. And I'm also going to go through everything, declutter, downsize, pack away in the back cupboard behind the house, anything that's impervious to mice or moisture. But mostly I'm going to get rid of things. Extra suitcases, sweaters I don't wear, coats I don't use, books I've already read, everything. So we pulled it all down here, and tomorrow I'll be working on sorting through all of this, dusting, cleaning, decluttering, and then the idea will be to get all my things that I'm storing down to where it will fit either in the chest that I've been given or in 2 small rollaway drawers that slide under my bed. Nothing else. And I'm going to make it happen. Michelle got here at about 7. It is midnight now. She just left a few minutes ago, so she was here for 4.5, 5 hours. And she disassembled my bed frame to be able to move it to the west wall to face feet at the north and head at the south, instead of along the back wall, the south wall. And that opened up a lot of space in my little sleeping nook, which I'll show you. Gives me a space to put that chest. The bed is now lower, so it's easier for me to get in and out of it. And I'll be able to just slide a couple of small storage things under there, which will force me to get rid of things. Books especially. Books, Afghans, shawls. I did find things that I'd been missing, bowls that had fallen behind my bed, my Easter baskets that were under my bed. A lot of this is stuff we took off the walls up there so that would force me to clean. But I have a lot of work to do, but it's going to be beautiful. So stay tuned. So here's what the upstairs looks like now. There's a big pile of things that have to be sorted. And I haven't made my bed yet because we stripped it all to move it. But that's what it looks like. The wonderful thing is the window will be able to be open. I'll have floor space. This is really what I wanted all the time when I moved up here. But when I bought that bed frame, it wouldn't fit at that end. Michelle modified it and made it fit. So that's the part she took off. You see it leaning against the wall. So that table that currently has the lamp on it won't be there. It'll actually be here where this pile of boxes is. There'll be a smaller table there, which is currently downstairs. I'll just swap them. And then the new chest that I've been gifted will be right there. And it will have my winter clothes in it. And probably maybe the photo albums, because they need to be kept nice. Most of these boxes are things that I can sort through and probably shred or store in the cupboard on the back of the house. We'll see. Most of the stuff that's down there that I previously showed you is pictures that have been taken off the wall, books that I called out, my winter clothes, which will go in the chest. It's not as much stuff as it looks like, but because it's all piled up, but I will sort through it all and get rid of things. And additionally, I will clean because it is really dirty. It gets really dusty up here, and I couldn't really clean the way it was arranged. Everything was just too jammed together. So I'm really excited, and I'll for sure do another tape when it's done, but I wanted to record what it looks like in process. I was not going to be mean enough to film Michelle doing it because she was like crawling around the floor and throwing stuff over the loft rail to me and getting under the bed and doing surgery on it. I'm really proud of the hard work that she did. But it's midnight and I have to be at the shop by 8:30 tomorrow, so I'm going to sign off and pick up when I've done some cleaning. Okay, this is Wednesday, August 27th, and I think that there is quite a bit of difference from yesterday. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about decluttering, but I'm going to show you where I'm at. So, as I mentioned yesterday, for quite some time, if you can see where the bed is now, for quite some time that bed frame was 18 inches high. It has fold-up legs, and it's now 9 inches high, actually 8.5. So the 18-inch high underbed space was completely full. It was papers and photographs, off-season clothing, and art that I wasn't using on my walls, just all kinds of stuff. And it's basically been there for 5 years. It was in 2020, I believe, that I had someone tear out the bed cubby that previously was in what's now the sitting room. And then I moved up to what previously was my writing loft, which, as you can see, is a drop loft. So I made a bedroom up there, and I made a sitting room under there, under the drop loft. The sitting room is very nice. Well, right now it has all my debris in it, but it's normally very nice. People have to duck to get in it. So the ceiling height is 13.5 feet, and the drop loft is 5 feet on the high side and 4 feet on the low side. And so let me think about this. Is it 13.5 feet, or is it 13.5 feet counting the trailer? Maybe it's 13.5 feet counting the trailer. But at any rate, as you can see, the height of the sitting room is about 4 feet. Yeah, that makes sense. The trailer is 2 feet off the ground. The house is 11 feet. The total height of the tiny house is 13 and a few inches. So I've got basically a slant roof, so that's 5 feet up there and 4 feet under it in the sitting room. And it was fine when it was a bed cubby. Nobody went in there but me. Although I did invite people to sit on my bed, I made it up as a day bed, but nobody ever would. So anyway, the sitting room is very comfortable when it's not used as a staging area for decluttering. But because I had 18 inches high by 40 inches wide and 75 inches long of underbed storage, that was a lot of storage. And now I have 8.5 inches high by 40 inches wide by only 72 inches long. So it's slightly less than half. The off-season clothes will go in the new chest that I have been gifted. You can see that the back wall of the bedroom is empty, and that new chest will go there. I'll show you that later. They're waiting, my friend who's giving it to me is waiting for me to get this project done, and then he'll bring, he and his wife, or he and his helper or somebody will bring it over. So anyway, there was a big pile in front of my hanging cupboard. That's all been dealt with. Some of the stuff that was on my pull-out, drop-down desk has been dealt with. I discovered, so on my cedar chest right here, you can see an antique quilt that I just bought this summer. It's going to go up in my bedroom. It's there because I have to stitch a couple. Those are yellow appliques, and a couple of them need stitching. No, not that. That's not an applique, but there are a couple of on it. There are a couple of appliques, not very many, that are loose, and I need to stitch them back on. So that's going upstairs. The Afghan on top of it is my little brother that passed away. That's his Afghan. My Afghan is in the cedar chest on which that stuff is sitting. This Afghan over here is actually my son's Afghan. I'm not sure how it ended up here. So on the chair in the back, you see two soft side containers. Those are my winter clothes, along with the brown sweater that's sitting in front of them. which I think was hanging in the closet for some reason. And on top of my off-season clothes are a couple of Patrick's baby blankets. So his 2 baby blankets, his Afghan, and my little brother Steven's Afghan, which are right here, will go in the cedar chest, which is not actually empty, but it has things in it that I don't need and will get rid of. There you see a bag of things to donate. This evening I filled 2 other bags, so I filled 3 total. The 2 other went out to the car. It's dark now, so I'm not going to take them out to the car. But, so I managed to declutter 3 reusable grocery bags. Here's the thing. A lot of the stuff I decluttered tonight is stuff that has been under my bed or in the storage drawers under the old bed unit that was here for the whole time I've lived here. I mean, I found clothes that I've never worn. When I moved here, anyone that knew me in Kansas City knows that I was a size 00 and extra small when I moved here. I don't know what my numeric size is, but I'm a medium now. Probably I'm 10 pounds, 15 pounds overweight, but when I moved here, I was way underweight. So I still had a lot of small size clothes that I haven't worn in 5 years. So I was able to downsize those. I think that most of my off-season clothes will fit in the chest that I'm being gifted. That leaves... So this pile under here, actually the 2 white boxes are presents for people in St. Louis, which are being mailed. I just haven't taken to the post office. Under it are some books, and in the crate here are trinkets that were on a shelf that did sit here against the bookcase, which is not there anymore. So I've got to go through my trinkets and figure out what to do with them. Sitting on my under my little cabinet there's artwork that goes here, and some of it was on the back of my bookcase, which is obviously not there anymore. So the tentative plan, after we get the chest up, so the chest will just go through the space there. We'll move the little table, and then the chest will go through the space. After we get the chest up there, I think I'm going to get a piece of maybe laminate or maybe a piece of balsa wood, that thin wood, and just pop it in that space there to regain a wall. I really like having a wall for my bedroom. It just really turned out to be really nice to have complete, pretty much, obviously not complete privacy, but privacy for my personal space when people are in here visiting. And so if I do that, there's a standard size that we've used at the shop that's, I think it's 4 by 24. So I would basically put maybe 2 of those up, and then I would put the art back on those. So that's kind of the plan. And so I've got probably one more evening's worth of decluttering, and then the clothes that are going to go in the chest will just stay there until we get on that chair there until we get the chest. So tomorrow night I'm going to go through the cedar chest that you can't see because there's a quilt on it, see what I can get rid of, and then put the baby blankets and the Afghan in the cedar chest. And then this all is just small little stuff that it will be easy to deal with. And my laundry is hanging there. So I've been busy this evening doing laundry. So there you have it. And stay tuned for part, 4, which will look like just a blip in the video to you because I have no idea how to edit videos. Okay, so it is Saturday, August 30th, and I haven't done any work this evening, but I worked all Thursday evening and all Friday evening, and I'm so close to finished. So I have that pile, and I have this pile, which is mostly artwork or books. And then over here, I have a stack of artwork. And then my rolling file cabinet, which I think is going to get given away. And then sitting on the chair, I still have the two plastic containers of the wool sweaters that are going to go in the new chest, which is now coming Tuesday. So most of that in there will either be gone or dealt with. The artwork will be rehung. I have to rehang all my artwork. And then this pile is mostly artwork and books. And this basket is filled with decor pieces that will get put back up. And those things are, again, stuff that will be put back where it belongs. It's really, this table is really just things that were put in those containers to keep them protected while I worked. Same with that, books and artwork, and the things that are going to be in the chest. So the upstairs is looking pretty cozy, and I will do a final video. I'll do one more interim video, which will probably be Monday after a full day of finishing all this. And then the chest comes on Tuesday. So sometime next week, which again is a nanosecond in your time, I'll do the whole reveal. See you then. Okay, so we're at the sort of messy end stage. I have an empty basket there. I still have this pile on the hutch. The things on the chair are still what's going in the chest. I have this little pile. Now, I have a couple of things that I use on a random basis, like overnight bags, that sort of thing. And I want them to go in this chest so that they're easy to get to. And right now what's in there are extra towels and sheets. And those used to be in this cabinet, which has become a clutter collector. So I'm going to take all the clutter out, go through it, figure out what can be thrown away. I'm going to clean the top of this cabinet, which is 7 years of accumulated grime. And I'm going to move the sheets and towels and washcloths back to this space. I think I will eventually put a cafe curtain over it, both to keep it from accumulating dust, which is a problem when you live in a park, but also so that it looks a little nicer. I'm hoping that I can find curtains that match what's in the bedroom. Those are actually valances, of course. There's lots of dust up here because I don't get up here very often. So I'm standing on the loft ladder, in case you're wondering. So I'm going to take all that out. Then I'm going to clean this area. Then I will relocate the sheets and towels. And then clean the cupboard. Sorry for waving you around. That is a painting by A.J. Hoyt, you probably recognize. Pottery by a woman named Christy South. I'll give you a better look at that. So I'm going to work on this now. I'll spare you the process, but I'll show you the result. And I'm going to turn you off so I don't fall. So it is 6 p.m. on Labor Day, and I have labored. There are still things sitting on the porch outside that have to go in my storage cubby. I am too tired to trust myself on a ladder, so I will have to do that after work tomorrow. But the goal was to get almost everything done before tomorrow, because the antique chest that I've been gifted is coming tomorrow after work. And I have sorted through everything except these two piles. And actually, I have sorted through them, and I know what's there, and I kind of consolidated everything that was not yet resolved into those two small piles. And I'll get that done this week. I have a couple of little small things there. They will get situated on the bookshelf next time I go upstairs. You can see that my Amish table that I have had since I was in high school is in the space right there. It's actually at the foot of my bed. We can just move that tomorrow when the chest comes, because knowing what the measurements of the chest are, I believe it could just be lifted up from the floor and slid through that space. Let me give you a better view of that. So we'll just set that Amish table on my bed or move it back temporarily. There is a small table at the head of my bed that is 9 inches on the narrow side, and the chest is 40.5 inches, and the space from wall to bed is 50 inches. So there's basically a half inch to spare. So I believe that will work, assuming that we have measured everything in the correct way. So I still have the 2 containers of sweaters. When the chest is delivered, I will take them upstairs one at a time and fold the sweaters into the chest. And I haven't sorted through those yet, but there may be some that can be donated. So you're wondering, I'm sure, where everything that I decluttered is. It's currently in my car on the back seat, which is full. There are a couple more things in the cupboard that will go into the back seat. And then I have a friend who is going to a swap and shop at her church on Saturday morning, and she'll come by the shop Friday, and she'll take everything from my car, put it in her car, and take it to the swap and shop. And then if she is able to sell it, I've told her she could keep the money. She's a young single mother. I'm happy to help her. I would otherwise be donating everything to Goodwill. And anything that she doesn't sell or swap, she will donate to the church, which has I think, like a clothes cupboard for homeless people or unhoused people. I was not able to restore all of my art. You can probably see that one of my rolling underbag carts or drawers or whatever you call them is in the closet. That is filled with art that did not go back up on the walls. The reason being that I lost the wall that was formed by the back of the bookshelf. We've given some thought, or I've given some thought to, whoa, what happened? I don't know what happened. Let me undo that. I've given some thought to putting a sheet of Luan or balsa wood in that space where previously the back of the bookshelf formed a wall that we could put art on where it previously was. Obviously, I can't do that until we get that chest up there, and I could just live with this level of art and then swap out some of the pieces. I did break a couple of pieces of art. Sadly, I'll have to reframe those. One of them fell off the loft rail when I was moving things around, and one of them, sadly, fell between the bed in its old orientation and the oak table that was up there, and I stepped on it. So that was glass everywhere. So when I'm done at the end of next week, probably when I get this pile done, and the chest is in and I have those in, and I get the floor cleaned from all this moving around, the floor is pretty dusty, then I will do a final video. But I am very tired, so I'm going to drink some cold water and maybe start a load of laundry. So I hope you have had a wonderful Labor Day, and I will wrap this up when I'm done. So here's the in-between clip with the video of all the bags of things I decluttered. And I will slip this in right before the final reveal. So just to bring it full circle in the sitting room, the shoes are now in the rolling cart because the rolling cart does not fit under the white chair, and the shoes didn't really work in the basket. So the rolling cart is here. It'll push in a little more. I've been using that shawl for a closet cover for probably 5 or 6 years, and I'm tired of it, but I haven't decided what to do. This is a broken picture, one of the pictures I broke, but I got special glue to fix it. Two of these are used frames that I found somewhere that I'm going to transfer art into them, and the other two are the art that are going into them. So they're just old prints from the Goodwill or somewhere, but they're the right size frame to replace frames that need to be replaced. The rolling cart under Tim's chair could not hold the printer, didn't work size-wise, because it would have obscured the paper tray and the feed. So the sitting room seems to have evolved in a pretty comfortable way. That white chair, I don't know if it's really white, this chair, I got it at a Habitat for Humanity in Concord. It's very comfortable. I have those chair pads on it. it doesn't really need them, but they look good on it. So I don't know if I'll keep them or not. I just happen to have those, and it just happened to go with the color. That basket there has some needlework in it that I'll be working on this winter. And otherwise, I got new knobs for that little cabinet, but it turns out, as you can see, I started to replace them, but the holes need to be re-drilled. They're not big enough, so I haven't finished that project yet. I put some of the displaced art is on the back wall now, which I really actually kind of like. And so that's how the sitting room has evolved. And I'm almost done with the bedroom as well. The bedroom has an option, and I'll show you that both ways. I know what everyone will say, but I'll ask your opinion anyway and try to explain what my choice would be and why. So here it is, the great reveal, the moment for which you've been waiting. My completely redone bedroom. And there's one thing in here that I know will be controversial. Maybe more, but one of which I'm pretty sure. But just feast your eyes on that gorgeous antique trunk, which is what all of this rehab has been designed to accommodate. Now, one of the really cool things about reorienting my bed is that now instead of leaning against the window, which the head of my bed was against this window, and it went along the wall, instead of leaning against the window, I'm leaning against the wall. Now, when the bed was along the back wall, the loft is, let me see if I have this right. It's about 5.5 feet deep, and the bed is 73 to 4 inches long, depending on the setup. And it's 40 inches wide. So because the loft is 5.5, a little more than 5.5 inches deep, with the bed being 3.5 feet wide, I only had 1.5 feet left of lengthwise floor space. Originally, there was a table in the corner, which is about the same width as these two tables together, but deeper. And so I ended up having about 1.5 foot strip of floor space. I originally wanted to put the bed this orientation, but the frame doesn't actually fit. My friend Michelle Burke modified the frame. It turned out the legs fold up, so we folded the legs up and put it on 4-inch wide cinder blocks. So, and they're 8-ish inches tall. So that's why I had 50% less space under the bed, which was optimal in this particular instance. But the real benefit was that I could have it oriented the way I originally wanted it oriented. So now I have a real bedroom, in a way, a loft bedroom, with actual floor space. There's my rug. I've had that rug a long time. But when the bed went the other orientation, that rug was basically the depth of my floor space. Before, when I had the tiger oak table up here, the printer was on it, and which was a little inconvenient because I'd have to come upstairs to get the printing. But I did all this inspired by the gift to me from the California attorney in whose office I work. She and her husband were cleaning out a storefront that they were rehabbing in a building they own, and that chest was abandoned, and they offered it to me, so I took it. Now it has all my winter clothes in it, 2 antique quilts that I own, an extra blanket, my winter hats, and my son's baby quilt, handmade quilt that a quilter made for him. So that's about half of what was originally under the 18-inch high bed frame, so that helps quite a bit. And there's something about having an actual bedroom-looking bedroom that is very satisfying. Now, the art pieces that I'm reframing will go in the space up there. I think, I don't know. I still have to revisit the art question. Now for the controversial piece. There it is right there, that chair. Now, some of you are looking at that chair and saying, gosh, it would be so much emptier without that chair. However, I just brought that chair home from my shop Sunday night. This is Tuesday, September 9th, and I've already discovered that that chair is quite useful, and I already knew it was comfortable. I think because it is a visually light chair, both in color and in the fact that it's got open legs, I think it doesn't look obtrusive. I know that some people would think it is, but I don't. And it's convenient for sitting down, taking out books, taking things out of my jewelry boxes, which are here. There's a little mirror there. Plus, who doesn't like a little chair in your bedroom? For my friends back home, this is the famous Kansas City Books cabinet. So anytime I want to read a book by one of my favorite Kansas City authors, they're right here. These are my jewelry boxes and my original bedside table, Amish table that I've had since I was in college. I'm going to come up and look that way so you can get a better view of that. Hang on, let me pause. So again, this is my original Amish bedside table I've had since I was 17 or 18, freshman in college, however you all, I guess I had just turned 18. This was purchased for anyone who grew up in St. Louis in the 60s and 70s and maybe later. This was purchased at Vets Village in St. Louis by my mother and I. I haven't cleaned its drawer out yet. It needs it, but I will. And this is my Kansas City Writers Cabinet. I bought this, actually my sister Joyce bought it at an antique store in Hood here in California, which is also where I bought this absolutely stunning, hand-pieced, hand-quilted, hand-tufted quilt. A few of its appliques need repairing. I have the proper thread to do that, and I'm going to do it. I only put it on the bed just for show and tell. So for those of you who haven't seen a bajillion videos, my house is slanted, and over there is the low end, and behind me is the high end. This is a drop loft because originally it was my writing room and I had a sleeping cubby under it. So that side of the loft is 4 feet high, and the other side behind me is 5 feet. So I am if I stretch really tall, I'm 5'3", so I can almost stand up on the high side. I'm now, right at this moment, sitting in the little yellow chair. There's the steps that go down. When I stand on the top step, which is actually a platform, there's a foot over me. So it's quite workable. So anyway, there's my new bedroom I'm sitting in. The next project will be to turn there's the guest sleeping loft. It is a traditional loft, and so that means it is 4 feet on the high side and 3 feet on the low side. Right now, along its windowsill on the right-hand side in your screen, so there are 2 windows there, just as there are here, and on the what is the right-hand side, I have 3 boxes sitting which have my craft supplies in them. I just put them up there temporarily. I don't really do crafts, but I don't mean it's like for crafting. I mean it's like tapes and stickers and envelopes and things I use for mailing. The cabinet that you see, which is in the above the blue curtain, those crafts used to be in that cabinet, and now my extra overnight bags are in that cabinet. No, they used to be on the shelves where the striped curtain is. The towels were in the cabinet. I moved the towels down, and I put my overnight bags in that cabinet. So for my next project, I'm going to get up into the sleeping loft. Probably I will roll the futon up so it can just be rolled out if I have a guest. I need to, I don't know, maybe once or twice a year, have a guest that sleeps there. I need to wash the sheets because they get dusty just being up there. But I think if I roll the futon up and put some kind of cabinet up there, it could be used both for visitors and it could be storage. What I really want to do is take those boxes back down, figure out what's in them, get rid of most of it probably, or find other places for it. But the guest loft could be more useful than it is, and that's my next project. So, there you go. One last view of my beautiful handmade quilt. I'll give you a closer view of the chest. It is quite old. Let me get up so you can see it a little better. It is what inspired this big cleaning project. It's very old. The metal strips on top of it, as you can see, are broken here and here. It has one crack along the top. It has gorgeous hardware. And I think it was well worth serving as an inspiration to get more decluttering done so that I could live my best tiny life. So thank you for spending, I don't know how long this will be, 35, 40 minutes of my tiny life with me. And I'll see you next time. Can you see me in the mirror? There I am. See you next time.